In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to factor trinomials. How to factor trinomials. So a trinomial is a polynomial with three terms. So I'm going to go ahead and underline this because trinomial means three terms. So let's look at what a trinomial might look like. We're going to factor 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Notice that this polynomial has three terms, and terms are always going to be separated out by pluses and minuses. When we factor trinomials, what we want to do is we want to start off by multiplying to the rainbow number. And to get to the rainbow number, we're going to draw a rainbow from the first number to the last number, from the leading coefficient, the 2, to the constant term on the right side. And we're going to multiply the numbers that it lands on. So what's 2 times negative 9? 2 times negative 9, that's going to be negative 18. So that's going to be my rainbow number. I want to multiply to negative 18. But at the same time, I want to add up to the middle number. The middle number is a 3, a positive 3. So over here, I've written an M and an arrow. That just means multiply to. And I've drawn an A and an arrow. That means add to. So I need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 18, but add up to 3. And once you find those two numbers, you're going to want to write them down. So what two numbers multiply to negative 18, but add up to 3? That's going to be some kind of 6 and some kind of 3. I know that 6 times 3 is going to give me 18. But to get to negative 18, that means one of these numbers has to be negative. How do we know which one is negative? We look at the adding number. The adding number tells me to add up to 3. So that means the biggest number has to be positive and the smallest number has to be negative. So we're going to choose positive 6 and negative 3. So now I can split up my middle term into a positive 6x and a negative 3x. Now that I've split up my middle term, I'm going to bring down the two terms that I haven't brought down yet. The 2x squared on this side, I'm going to bring that down. Put a plus in between since the 6 is positive. And I'm going to bring down the negative 9 on the right side. I'm going to bring down the negative 9 too. So now I have four terms, a 2x squared, a 6x, a negative 3x, and a negative 9. Now we're going to factor by grouping. I'm going to always group the first two terms and the last two terms in parentheses. So let's group the first two terms together and the last two terms together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look inside the first set of parentheses and see if there's something that both terms have in common. So what do both of these terms have in common? Well, I have a 2 and a 6. I can divide both of those numbers by a 2, right? So I take out the 2. Also, I notice that they have an x in common. This one has 2 x's, this one has 1 x, so I know I can take out 1 x in common. And I'm going to have something left on the inside. Now I need to figure out what I need to have on the inside. The way I do that is I see what I have to multiply 2x by to get back to 2x squared. So to get back to 2x squared, I need one more x. I need one more x. I'm going to bring down the plus sign. And then to multiply from 2x to get to 6x, I need to multiply by a 3. Because 2x times 3 is going to give me 6x. Now let's see what the second group has in common. The second group is going to both be divided by what? This has a -3, this is a -9, so I can divide both of those by -3. I take out the -3 and I look to see what I have left on the inside. What do I need to multiply -3 by to get back to -3x? I need an x. What do I need to multiply -3 by to get back to -9? I need a +3. So I'm going to put +3 on the inside. And now notice that the inside parts match up. The inside parts match up. That should always be the case when you're factoring by grouping. So now that the inside parts match up, I can put the outside parts together. The outside parts are going to be 2x and -3. So I'm going to put those together in their own set of parentheses. 2x minus 3. And then beside that, I'm going to put what's on the inside, x plus 3. And I'm done. So I like to call that the rainbow method. Some people call it factoring by grouping, but it really is the same thing. You're trying to factor trinomials by multiplying to the rainbow number and adding up to the middle number, and then grouping. Now, there is another way you can do this. Once you find the two numbers that you need to multiply to -18 and add up to 3, we can take both of those numbers and divide them by the leading coefficient. What's the leading coefficient? Well, the leading coefficient is 2. I'll put a green box around it. That's the leading coefficient. It's always the number in front of the variable with the highest exponent. So 2 is going to be my leading coefficient. I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 2. So I'm going to divide the 6 by 2. And I'm going to divide the -3 by 2. Now, some of these fractions can be reduced down a little bit, but some of them can't. For example, what's 6 divided by 2? 6 divided by 2 is 3, right? And what's -3 divided by 2? Well, we can't really reduce that down any. So we're going to keep that the same. -3 over 2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of those numbers in parentheses. The 3 is going to give me x plus 3. That's very simple. I just put the number with x plus 3. But what's going to happen to the fraction? We're going to write it bottom up. So going bottom up, the 2 is going to be first, and then the x. And then what's on the top of the fraction? -3. So I'm going to put a -3 at the end. And what you'll notice is we get the same exact two factors that we did before over here. X plus 3 and 2x minus 3. So that's how you factor trinomials. And I hope that helps.